We are joined today by Dr. Brandy Anglen, lecturer in Earth and Environmental Science here at Fresno State. And we're going to talk about her experience in the Humanizing Online STEM Academy. That was a grant-funded project that primarily served community college faculty, but Fresno State was able to be a participant in that program. Can you tell us about the classes that you teach and the students that you teach?
I teach primarily upper division GE courses through the Earth and Environmental Science Department. I teach primarily asynchronous online courses, but I've also taught lower division GE courses in person as well.
Earth and Environmental Science seems like a broad area. What's your specialty?
My PhD was in a field called biogeochemistry, which is a combination of biology, geology, and chemistry. My research focused on isotopic studies of ice-covered lakes in Antarctica, how certain types of bacteria can exist in those extreme environments.
Wow, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Okay, so the Humanizing Online STEM Academy. Um, what made you sign up for that program? And then what was the experience like?
So I've been teaching asynchronous online courses at Fresno State since 2017. And I think once you start teaching those types of courses online, you realize, at least I realized, that I needed a different skill set, that there are certain techniques that work in an in-person class face-to-face, but don't necessarily translate to online courses. So once I recognized that, I started taking as many professional development courses as I could, and opportunities on how to improve those online courses. I started off with the simple introductory ones that you take at Fresno State to teach online. I progressively worked my way up to Quality Matters trainings. I ended up with a certificate in online teaching from Quality Matters. But one of the things I felt my courses at least lacked was sort of a personalization. It's hard to recognize that there's a person behind the screen. Your instructor is real and live and trying to interact with you. And so I felt like the humanizing course that was offered was a good opportunity to sort of improve my courses in that aspect.
Yeah, and so what did you learn? Like what did the Academy give you? What did it add to your toolbox?
Yeah, it added a lot of techniques that I had never considered necessarily. A way to incorporate more sort of short videos, they call them bumper videos, to help introduce assignments as a transition from one topic to the next, a sort of way to check in with students and show you that you are sort of a live person. And so I incorporated some of those bumper videos this semester. So I took the course in the fall of 2023. So this is the first semester that I've been able to implement some of those things. So I tried some bumper videos. I also found out about a liquid syllabus, which is sort of a precursor that students look at prior to taking the course. The liquid syllabus has a short video from me telling a little bit about my background and me as a person. It talks about the expectations of the course, what the students expect from me and what I expect from them as far as their engagement with the online material. So those were the two big takeaways for me personally, things that I hadn't been doing before that I incorporated in my courses afterwards.
Yeah, and you talked about the face behind the screen. And
Mhm.
one of the things you mentioned in your Academy showcase was doing bumper videos in the field.
Yes.
And getting the idea that just because the course is being offered online, that the topics that you're talking about are happening out in the world. And
Yeah,
yeah,
geology is one of those topics where I can explain something to you or I can show you what it looks like in the field or in the real world. So those were videos that I had done when my husband and I take road trips. We stop and visit national parks. And so there's great examples of different geologic principles, which is part of what I teach in my courses. So having me in front of a rock outcrop at the Grand Canyon is a lot different than just trying to explain the Grand Canyon or showing you a picture. If you see me there, you realize, one, that it actually exists. It's a place you can go. And I think it's a good way for students to make those real world connections from my course materials. So I did sort of edit those in the humanizing course, added music to them and make them look a little bit more polished. And so I've gotten good feedback on those so far from the students. They seem to enjoy them.
Those places exist and you exist, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, so I know one of the things that the academy has the participants doing is a lot of different technology is introduced. Adobe Express, Flip, doing a Google site. Um, were you familiar with those tools? Had you used them before? Are those things you might be able to use or incorporate with students?
I had heard of Adobe Express and Google Sites. I had never really used it that much. I'm always interested in new technologies. I mean, it's always changing, right? There's always something new to try and a new tool that's out there. And I found the Google Sites especially was incredibly intuitive. Like if you know how to use a computer, then you can build one of those sites pretty easily. The Adobe Express was really helpful with the bumper videos, with editing those and making them look a bit more polished. I'm not a cinematographer. Those videos that we made was just, me, my husband, and an iPad in the middle of nowhere in someplace cool. So Adobe Express really let me edit and polish those and make them look a bit more professional. So I did enjoy learning about those technologies.
What was the sort of day-to-day experience of the academy itself like as a learner?
Yeah, as a learner, I think it's always good to take those types of courses as an instructor because you get a chance to see it from the student perspective. So that in and of itself is really useful. For me, it was, reading the materials they had provided, whether it was scientific studies that they had done or professional papers they had done about the techniques they were incorporating. They also gave lots of examples of different ways of doing things. So they had, YouTube videos from instructors at other courses talk in other universities or colleges talking about the topic of the modules. It was, I wouldn't say it was an overwhelming amount of work, but it did take a bit of time investment on my part to set aside time and do the assignments. I also liked that you were creating things. It wasn't just reading things and taking multiple choice quizzes. You were creating something and you were getting feedback. And that feedback from the instructors in that course was really helpful. Whether it was validating something I wasn't sure about or whether it was making suggestions on things that I was struggling with. So, it did take a little bit of time investment on my part, but I feel like it was well worth it.
The content of the course kind of focuses on the humanizing, bringing the human into both online teaching and into STEM, the STEM disciplines. Some of the research seemed to indicate that that was more of an issue in STEM than in some other fields. Which side of those things do you feel um, maybe needs more of that, or in your teaching, do you feel like that your discipline lends itself in that way better? Um, or that your teaching could be enhanced with that humanized element more because it's online or because it's STEM.
I think it's both. I think that STEM fields in general, it can be really intimidating for students who aren't familiar or aren't comfortable with the topics. Math is a big component of it, and a lot of students are off put by math. And for my field, especially in the earth sciences, there's a big issue with diversity. Having students from different backgrounds who go on into those fields and make a career out of it. So I think it's both. I think, there's the discipline challenge of trying to reach students and make the field accessible to them and appealing to them. But then you also have the added challenge of it's an online course. And that can be hard. That adds another layer of complexity in making connections with students and helping them, feel like they're a part of the course and not just sitting there clicking away at things. So I think it's a double challenge for the courses I teach. And, the humanizing course, I think, gave me a lot of, if it wasn't a topic that I could directly apply, it was a topic that led me in a direction where I might come up with something that would work for my course. And so I appreciate those, sort of pointers in the right direction. They might not give me something that's directly transferable, but they lead me down a path that I can follow to find something that I can incorporate into my courses.
What was the experience like going through with the other folks in the cohort through the discussions and different things? Did you get any aha moments from the other people in addition to the facilitators or the course content?
I wouldn't say I had a specific, aha moment, but I got a lot of things to think about because you're posting something and you're getting somebody else's take on what you posted, and it might be something that you never considered. If I had someone who was traditionally teaching in the humanities, they might have a different perspective on something that the cohort was talking about for that particular module. And so I like, seeing those things from the different perspectives is always helpful, because my students might be majoring in humanities. And so they might take information that I'm trying to present one way, they might take it a different way. And so recognizing that there's these different backgrounds, um, different points of view from the material that I'm teaching in my class, and I want everybody to take away, what I'm trying to convey about the material. So that feedback and interaction with other faculty was really, it's validating in a lot of ways, because you realize things where you've done well, and you realize things where you can improve, where you can edit and revise and make it better, and that's always a good thing.
Okay, so my last question for you, and then I'll let you go. What's next for you on your humanizing journey?
Well, I'm slowly incorporating that material. I pick a few things and try them out. The online teaching for me, I really enjoy it. I enjoy the methodical way it forces me to think about my course material and present it. And so much so that over the past year or so, I've started taking instructional design courses in a graduate program. So, leading me further down that road to improving and making my teaching better is something I'm always looking forward to. And the humanizing course really helped me expand out into different areas that I hadn't considered and thought about before. So we'll see where I end up. Hopefully it makes everything better in my teaching.
Sounds like you're on a good path. Brandy, thank you so much for taking the time to talk with me today.
Thank you for the invitation.
To learn more, visit our website, academics.fresnostate.edu/ideas, or contact us to share your story. Ideas@mail.fresnostate.edu.